The philosophy of a subclass. I sound very pretentious calling my video like this, but it's pretty much what I'm going to do in the next, I don't know, 30 hours that this video is going to last. What I'm going to try is define a more clear-cut definition for a subclass, because I believe the definition has been stretched pretty thin, calling many non-valid classes subclasses. Just loadouts are now just subclasses apparently, and I don't think that's really healthy for the game, because there needs to be a clear-cut difference between the two of them. The reason being is that subclasses, in my opinion, need to change how you fundamentally play the class. And how we can determine that is how their win conditions are changed. I have two examples that I can cite, and the two subclasses that I'm going to mostly talk about are the Trolldier and the Demo Knight. So, what constitutes a subclass? Like previously said, it has to change the playstyle in such a way that it fundamentally changes your decision process. For example, when you're playing Demo Man, which is a character that seeks to engage in fights in area either controlled by himself or in mid-range fights, he has been designed in such a way that it would punish him to get up close. And in Team Fortress 2, the long-range interactions are kinda non-existent except for Sniper. So the Demo Man suffers from a lack of long-distance engagement tools. And unlike the Soldier, who can easily dive in using his rocket launcher, the Demo Man has a pretty set playstyle. He can't use his grenade launcher to dive in and survive, because he's already gonna have taken a bunch of damage. He's not gonna survive. He will just lose every fight he wants to take after that. And it's interesting to notice that the Demo Knight flips these interactions on its head. He loses his mid-range engagement tools to then have a much stronger survivability and mobility. So instead of becoming an anchor for your team that does so much damage around you that you create a sort of area of control, or how we say in MOBAs, not AoE, fucking crowd control, yes. He has a crowd control effect. Sorry, it took me a second. You become a close range assassin. You try to get in, get picks, and try to get out. And instead of seeking big groups of enemies, you now try to just get the medics or the snipers or whatever. Now, on the other hand, the Soldier too has a subclass, and it's called the Trolldier. It's a lot less viable than the Demo Knight, of course, but we need to understand that the Soldier is the best all-around character for the game's interactions. So, it's kinda... Of course, his subclass is going to be less strong than his normal class. He's legit the meta for sixes. The Soldier has high potential damage with his rockets. He can deal up to 90 damage clean if he uses his rockets, and with ramp up, they can even go up to 112 damage. Now, ramp up is... it's a mechanic that grows your damage the closer you are to your target. It's kind of like, for example, in fighting games you have damage scaling, but reverse the damage scaling. It's the more close you are, the bigger damage you do. And the Soldier also has a shotgun in his arsenal, so it can allow him to obtain more burst damage or to clean up insecure kills. The Soldier's favorable range is about short to mid-range. The Soldier does not suffer as much from his own explosive damage than the Demo Man. So he can allow himself to play in a shorter range, and the Soldier can even circumvent his lack of range with his mobility with rocket jumping. He can use his HP like a resource to gain bursts of mobility. It's so free. Again, the Trollger subclass completely flips these notions on its head. He no longer has to pay a certain price of HP for mobility. And instead of having explosive damage and a lot of crowd control, well, he becomes an assassin with a shovel. You have tremendous mobility and HP, and now this character wants to always jump in and dive the enemy players. This changes how the Pyro sees the matchup. Before, in a soldier 1v1 against Pyro, you have your shotgun to fall back to. Then again, in a close range interaction, you can outsmart the air blasting. This interaction lies on who will make the first mistake, so that the other player can capitalize on it. With the Trollger, this interaction becomes pretty one-sided, as the Pyro will just always air blast you away and just look at you funny. He'll just laugh in your face. Now, a variant of the Trollger is Medium Scout. I think it has some validity being called a variant and not a subclass to the subclass, because basically the fundamentals are pretty much the same. You still want to use your mobility to fuck around, and you want to use your shotgun to play in the mid-range, yes, but you use it in a way that's different than the normal normal soldier. And for those who don't know, Medium Scout is when you play soldier with the rocket jumper and a shotgun. The melee slot is a bit unimportant, but for myself, I do enjoy playing with the whip. The strategy the Trollger and the Medium Scout want to employ are so similar. Like I said, it's not to say almost identical. As Medium Scout, you want to go in and get up close to your targets. You want to use your mobility to attack from angles that the other players are not expecting. This Medium Scout playstyle wants you to pick 1v1s, then escape for HP, then take new fights and capitalize on your assassin-like mobility. Now, do you see how different of playstyle there needs to be called subclass? That's why I'm so reluctant on saying that, oh my god, Demo Man with a shield, Hybrid Knight, is so different from Demo Knight. It's like, no, it's just a variant of Demo Knight. Yes, it's a mix between normal Demo Man, but the only thing that's different is now he has grenade launchers. It changes a bit how he plays, but not to the extent that it's another thing. It's not. But now, that's honestly just my opinion on the matter, and I don't know what people are going to think about it. I just think that stuff like Penis Scout, which is a joke, I know, don't deserve to be called subclasses. I know it's a joke, but it just fucks up with the term. And it doesn't change how you fundamentally change the class. Like, if we take the Penis Scout, and if I were to play as a normal scout, without the backscatter, without whatever the milk and fucking boss and basher, I'd still want to flank behind my enemies and shoot them in the back. I'd still want to take 1v1s and be like an assassin. And my point being is, you need more than just a small change in stats to name it a subclass. If you play the same, it's not a subclass.